Sometimes we may need a little bit more clarity in our life. Perhaps we're stuck in our awakening. Perhaps we don't know where we're going with our lives. And it's in these moments when it's best to increase our intuitive abilities, increase our intuition, so that we can almost receive a little bit of guidance from our higher selves and really begin communicating quite clearly with the universe. If you're interested in this and how to increase your intuition in your personal life, then by all means, stick around. There are a few ways that I use personally to increase my intuition. Sometimes it's needed, right? Sometimes we're perhaps stuck in our life. We want a little bit of clarity as to where we might be going. And the only way that we feel we can find out what it is that life has planned for us is to talk to life, right? To speak to our higher selves, to begin communicating. And the way we do this is in silence, right? We can't do it with our mouths, although we can, I suppose, and we can't do it with our thoughts, although technically we also can do that. But silence is the way that we allow ourselves to deeper connect with our intuition, when we become silent inside and drop all of the mental craziness that we're used to. It's very important in these moments, if we can, to increase our meditation efforts, perhaps 5 minutes to 10 minutes, or perhaps if you're not doing meditation, you're doing yoga, perhaps increase that somewhat. For me, I do about an hour and a half a day every day. It's good to keep these practices up daily because they're progressive, aren't they? You notice that you can stoke up a feeling of bliss and inner awareness within yourself with just 1 hour's practice of yoga. But if you do that every day, it's a constant progression, a constant increase in vibration and an increase in that connection to your higher self, to the feeling of bliss within, from which thoughts that are more in alignment with your higher self naturally spring. So there's our first thing, to be able to open our third eye and begin increasing our intuition, is to double down on your practice. Become silent within and wait for little wait was the wrong word, ignore me, it's bad Jamie. And bring ourselves into a space of allowing, so that we're ready to receive more synchronistic downloads from the universe. Another thing for me that I've just recently started is journaling. Journaling's so important, and it's almost weird how we can't write these things sometimes, can we? The universe knew I'd never go out and buy a journal because I am just the way I am. Journaling's not me. But the path of least resistance was for my mum to go and buy it without the universe letting me know that I should do it, because they knew that if my mum bought it for me, I'd do it. But the universe must have known that I'd have never listened to the thought in my head, go and buy a journal. It's just not the way that I work. But journaling's very important, and it's so effective. Your higher mind will tend to speak to you with little bliss bubbles, right? It's like a little bubble of bliss when a little thought comes up. It's quieter than the mind, isn't it? It's less dense, it's less gross, but it's more light. And when something comes up, it's almost like a little aha moment. It's like, oh, right, that's what I should be acting on. And that's what I think Abraham Hicks and all of these New Age gurus are talking about when they say inspired action. It's that inspiration from higher mind, but then not just leaving it there, acting upon it. And we do this by writing it down in the journal, saving it for later. I think there's somebody, maybe it's Carl Jung or some psychologist, that says if these synchronistic downloads aren't written within 37 seconds, they disappear forever. They never repeat themselves, and I've missed out on so many really cool downloads because of this. So it's important, if you can, to journal those little aha moments. Of course, as well, it's very important to begin communicating with your higher self, or communicating with the universe in the correct way. Most of us vibrate about our worries, don't we? If we want lots of money, we tend to focus on the lack of money. Oh, why have I got no money? Why have I got no money? There's a recognition that we want money, but we're focusing on the lack of it. Well, why have I got none of it? Instead of really communicating in the way that the universe understands better, which is, I love it when I have money. Even if you don't have money, it doesn't take any extra energy for you to just say, I love it when I have money, or notice that you're thinking, why don't I have any money? I hate this, and just change it. I love it when I have money, and then watch money come into your life. Of course, it can be as simple as that. We know most of the time it isn't as simple as that, because we give a mixed vibration. And it's when we catch ourselves and then become more natural at saying more positive-minded things rather than negative, lack-focused things, that we do begin attracting more easily abundance into our lives. So are you vibrating your worries, or are you vibrating your desires? And this is a really good way to form a deeper connection with your higher self, so that your higher self leads you to things that you really want rather than the lack thereof of the thing that you really want. Does this make sense? If it doesn't, let me know down below. I'll go deeper. Oh, dreams. Dreams are a big one. Write your dreams down as well. I've started doing this. I'm a very visual learner. I also learn by doing a lot, but visually is the best way for spirit guides or the universe to communicate with me personally, because through dreams I am such a visual learner. I do remember little codes, little sequences that I see in my dreams, and write them down. They'll come with an intuitive knowing, a thought that will bubble up on a little bliss bubble, perhaps, to let you know what they mean. Once you've got out of the dream, write it down or draw the picture of whatever the visual thing was. You'll look at it for a moment and you can go deeper into what you really feel it means for you, and you'll know. You'll always know, because your higher self is you, right? It's communicating you with every day. It's just, are we listening? Or are we clouding it with our own crap? And guilty. Do that all the time, don't we? But we have to be honest with ourselves and really become clear and gain some clarity around our thoughts, so that we can drop them and allow easier access for higher downloads to come in. Finally, decalcify your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is just behind your third eye and in between your brain, at the cross section here of your temples, in there. And we do calcify this by using fluoride toothpaste. Guilty, still use it, to be honest with you. The other toothpastes are a little bit more expensive, but they're well worth investing in if you can. But also, the fluoride in the water. So the fluoride does calcify our pineal gland, and the pineal gland, when it's calcified, doesn't really, or it's harder for these downloads to come in because it's so hard and crusty. Really bad analogy, but we'll use it like that. And what the pineal gland would naturally do if we weren't calcifying it with fluoride, would receive these downloads like a sponge does water. And it's in the water. Nice little segue. It's in the water. So if we can, what I found useful for me is to filter the water. Now that's fine for drinking water, but what about showers? Well, the hot water will open up your pores in your body and will let that water, the fluoride-filled water, seep in. And most of us don't have filtered water showers. So what's best to do is have a cold shower every morning. I do it. It's very uncomfortable when you get beginning, but after a while, you're gonna love it. And bear in mind, do it once. Keep the breathing up, strong breathing in the shower as it gets cold, and you just embrace and relish the freezing coldness of it. After the shower ends, you'll be in a new state of being. It's gonna feel incredible. You're gonna feel alive. You're gonna feel sensational, radiant, and it burns fat. Really, it burns the brown fat, turns it to the white, nice fat that we want inside of our body. Makes your metabolism work faster, work harder, and that's really what we're wanting to do. So, decalcify your pineal gland. Write down your dreams. Journal your little aha moments. Communicate with the universe properly, rather than focusing on lack, focusing on, I love having money, rather than, why don't I have any money? And, of course, double down on your practice, whether that's meditation, yoga, or breathing practices if you find meditation hard. It's very hard to control our minds, isn't it? Especially if we're very over-analytical, most of us are. So you do breathing practices so the mind has something to focus on and is less likely to blah 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 blah. And if you want, there's a free breathing practice down below that will help you begin increasing your intuition, begin receiving synchronistic downloads. And by downloads I just mean little gifts, those little aha moments, those little thoughts, feelings that just come up with a sense of knowing that's like, oh right, that's right for me. And of course, down below, there's a free community for awakening souls. If you're going through these experiences and you don't know how to really talk to other people about this yet, we have a community down below for you. It's free, I'll never charge you for it, and it could be a good support network for you. I only do it because I never had this opportunity when I was going through the awakening process. Nobody had created anything like this. So, my love for you, if you want to join us down there, you're more than welcome to. It's free. Okay, that'll do. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day.